Genesis 25, verse 19 through 25. This is the genealogy of Isaac, Abraham's son. Abraham begot Isaac. Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah as wife, the daughter of Bethuel, the Syrian, of Pandaram, the sister of Laban the Syrian. Now Isaac pleaded with Yahuwah for his wife, because she was barren. And Yahuwah granted his plea, and Rebekah his wife conceived. But the children struggled together within her. And she said, If all is well, why am I like this? So she went to inquire of Yahuwah. And Yahuwah said to her, Two nations are in your womb. Two people shall be separated from your body. One people shall be stronger than the other, and the older shall serve the younger. So when her days were fulfilled for her to give birth, indeed there were twins in her womb, and the first came out red. He was like a hairy garment all over. So they call his name Esau. Matthew 2, verses 1 through 6. Now after Yahushua was born in Bethlehem of Judea, in the days of Herod the king, behold, wise men from the east came to Jerusalem, saying, Where is he who has been born King of the Jews? For we have seen his star in the east, and have come to worship him. When Herod the king heard this, he was troubled, and all Jerusalem with him. And when he had gathered all the chief priests and scribes of the people together, he inquired of them where the Christ was to be born. So they said to him, In Bethlehem of Judea, for thus it is written by the prophets, But you, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, are not the least among the rulers of Judah, for out of you shall come a ruler who will shepherd my people, Israel. Isaiah 12, verse 4. And in that day you will say, Praise Yahuwah, call upon his name, declare his deeds among the peoples, make mention that his name is exalted. Daniel 10, verse 15 through 19. And when he had spoken such words to me, I turned my face towards the ground and became speechless. And suddenly, one having the likeness of the sons of men touched my lips. Then I opened my mouth and spoke, saying to him who stood before me, My master, because of the vision my sorrows have overwhelmed me, and I have retained no strength. For how can this servant of my master able to speak with you, my master? As for me, no strength remains in me now, nor is any breath left in me. Then again, the one having the likeness of a man touched me and strengthened me. And he said, O man, greatly beloved, fear not. Peace be to you. Be strong. Yes, be strong. So when he spoke to me, I was strengthened and said, Let my master speak, for you have strengthened me. Daniel 10, verses 10 to 14. And see, a hand touched me, which made me tremble on my knees and on the palms of my hands. And he said to me, O Daniel, man greatly appreciated, understand the word that I speak to you, and stand upright, for I have now been sent to you. And while he was speaking this word to me, I stood trembling. And he said to me, do not fear, Daniel, for from the first day that you set your heart to understand and to humble yourself before your Elohim, your words were heard, and I have come because of your words. But the prince of the kingdom of Persia withstood me 21 days, and behold, Michael, one of the chief princes, came to help me, for I had been left alone there with the kings of Persia. Now I have come to make you understand what will happen to your people in the latter days, for the vision refers to many days yet to come. John 3, verse 16 and 17. For Elohim so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whomever believes in him should not perish but have everlasting life. For Elohim did not send his Son into the world to condemn the world, but that the world through him might be saved. Isaiah 9, verses 6 and 7. For a child shall be born unto us, a ben shall be given unto us, and the rule is on his shoulder, and his name is called Wonderful Counselor, Strong El, Father of Continuity, Prince of Peace. Of the increase of his rule and peace there is no end, upon the throne of David and over his reign, to establish it and sustain it with right ruling and with righteousness, from now on, even forever, even forever. The zeal of Yahuwah of hosts will perform this. Luke 1:30 through 35. Then the messenger said to her, do not be afraid, Mary, for you have found favor with Elohim. And behold, you will conceive in your womb and bring forth a son, and shall call his name Yahusha. He will be great and will be called the Son of the Highest. And Yahuwah Elohim will give him the throne of his father David, and he will reign over the house of Jacob forever, and of his kingdom there will be no end. Then Mary said to the messenger, how can this be, since I do not know a man? And the messenger answered and said to her, the Holy Spirit will come upon you, and the power of the Highest will overshadow you. Therefore, also that Holy One who is to be born will be called the Son of Yahuwah. Micah 5, verse 2. But you, Bethlehem, Ephrathah, though you are little among the thousands of Judah, yet out of you shall come forth to me the one to be ruler in Israel, whose goings forth are from of old, from everlasting. Isaiah 7, verse 14. Therefore, Yahuwah himself will give you a sign. Behold, the virgin shall conceive and bear a son, and shall call his name Emmanuel. Matthew 7, verse 21. And she will bring forth a son, and you shall call his name Yahusha, for he will save his people from their sins. Genesis 50, verses 12 through 14. So his sons did for him just as he had commanded them. For his sons carried him to the land of Canaan and buried him in the cave of the fields of Machpelet before Mamre, which Abraham bought with the field from Ephron the Hittite as property for a burial place. And after he had buried his father, Joseph returned to Egypt, he and his brothers, and all who went up with him to bury his father. Jeremiah 10, verses 1 through 4. Hear the word which Yahuwah speaks to you, O house of Israel. Thus says Yahuwah, do not learn the way of the Gentiles. Do not be dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the Gentiles are dismayed at them. For the customs of the peoples are futile. For one cuts a tree from the forest, the work of the hands of the woodman with the axe. They decorate it with silver and gold. They fasten it with nails and hammers, so that it will not topple. Daniel 10, verse 20 and 21. And he said, do you know why I have come to you? And now I must return to fight with the prince of Persia. And when I have gone forth, indeed the prince of Greece will come. But I will tell you what is noted in the scripture of truth. And there is no one supporting me against these except Michael, your head. First Chronicles 16, verses 10 through 11. Glory in his holy name. Let the hearts of those rejoice who seek Yahuwah. Seek Yahuwah and his strength. Seek his face evermore. Second Thessalonians 2, verses 9 through 12. The coming of the lawless one is according to the working of Satan, with all power, signs, and lying wonders, and with all unrighteous deception among those who perish, because they did not receive the love of the truth, that they might be saved. And for this reason Elohim will send them strong delusion, that they should believe the lie, that they all may be condemned, who did not believe the truth, but have believed in unrighteousness. Hosea 3, verse 5. Afterward, the children of Israel shall return and seek Yahuwah, their Elohim, and David, their king. They shall fear Yahuwah and his goodness in the latter days. Jeremiah 30, verse 11. For I am with you, says Yahuwah, to save you, though I make a full end of all nations where I have scattered you. Yet I will not make a complete end of you, but I will correct you in justice, and will not let you go altogether unpunished. Psalms 34:19. Many are the afflictions of the righteous, but Yah delivers him out of them all. Proverbs 28, verse 9. one who turns away his ear from hearing the law, even his prayer is an abomination. 1 John 5, verses 2 and 3. But this we know, that we love the children of Yahuwah, when we love Yahuwah and keep his commandments. For this is the love of Yahuwah, that we keep his commandments, and his commandments are not burdensome. 2 Thessalonians 2, verses 3 through 8. Let no one deceive you by any means, for that day will not come unless the falling away comes first, and the man of sin is revealed, the son of perdition, who opposes and exalts himself above all that is called God or that is worshipped, so that he sits as Yah in the temple of Yahuwah, showing himself that he is Yahuwah. Do you not remember that when I was still with you, I told you these things? And now you know what is restraining, that he may be revealed in his own time. For the mystery of lawlessness is already at work. Only he who now restrains will do so until he is taken out of the way. And then the lawless one will be revealed, whom Yah will consume with the breath of his mouth and destroy with the brightness of his coming. Micah 7, verse 8. Do not rejoice over me, my enemy. When I fall, I will arise. When I sit in darkness, Yahuwah will be a light to me. 1 Peter 5, verse 6 through 7. Humble yourselves, therefore, under the mighty hand of Yah, that he may exalt you in due time, casting all your care upon him, for he careth for you. Philippians 4, verses 6 through 7. Be anxious for nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to Yah, and the peace of Yahuwah, which surpasseth all understanding, will guard your hearts and mind through Yahusha Hamashiach. James 1, verse 12. Blessed is the man that endureth temptation, for when he is tried, he shall receive the crown of life, which Yah had promised to those who love him. 2 Corinthians 9, verse 7. So let each one give as he proposes in his heart, not grudgingly or of necessity, for Yah loves a cheerful giver. Psalms 100, verse 5. For Yah is good, his mercy is everlasting, and his truth endures to all generations. Psalm 19, verse 1. The heavens declare the glory of Yahuwah, and the firmament shows his handiwork. Ephesians 4, verse 29. Let no corrupt word proceed out of your mouth, but what is good for necessary edification, that it may impact grace to the hearers. Genesis 3, verse 15. I will put enmity between you and the woman, and between your seed and her seed. He shall bruise your head, and you shall bruise his heel. Genesis 22, verse 18. In your seed all the nations of the earth shall be blessed, because you have obeyed my voice. Genesis 22, verse 2. Then he said, take now your son, your only son Isaac, whom you love, and go to the land of Moriah, and offer him there as a burnt offering on one of the mountains of which I shall tell you. Genesis 22, verse 12. And he said, do not lay your hand on the lad, or do anything to him, for now I know that you fear Yahuwah, since you have not withheld your son, your only son, from me. Revelation 2, verse 9. I know your works, tribulation, and poverty, but you are rich, and I know the blasphemy of those who say they are Jews and are not, but are a synagogue of Satan. Romans 9, verses 6 through 8. But it's not that the word of Yahuwah has taken no effect, for they are not all Israel who are of Israel, nor are they all children, because they are the seed of Abraham. But in Isaac your seed shall be called, that is, those who are the children of the flesh. These are not children of Yahuwah, but the children of the promise are counted as the seed. Romans 9, verses 6 through 8. But it's not that the word of Yahuwah has taken no effect, for they are not all Israel who are of Israel, nor are they all children, because they are the seed of Abraham. But in Isaac your seed shall be called, that is, those who are the children of the flesh. These are not children of Yahuwah, but the children of the promise are counted as the seed. Deuteronomy 1, verse 42 through 46. And Yahuwah said to me, tell them, do not go up nor fight, for I am not among you, lest you be defeated before your enemies. So I spoke to you, yet you would not listen, but rebel against the command of Yahuwah, and presumptuously went up into the mountain, and the Amorites who dwell in that mountain came out against you and chased you as bees do, and drove you back from Seir to Hama. Then you returned and wept before Yahuwah. But Yahuwah would not listen to your voice, nor give ear to you. So you remained in Kadesh many days, according to the days that you spent there. Zechariah 8, verse 23. Thus says Yahuwah of hosts, in those days 10 men from every language of the nations shall grasp the sleeve of a Jewish man, saying, let us go with you, for we have heard that Yahuwah is with you. Exodus 4, verse 21 to 23. And Yahuwah said to Moses, when you go back to Egypt, see that you do all those wonders before Pharaoh, which I have put in your hand. But I will harden his heart so that he will not let the people go. Then you shall say to Pharaoh, thus say Yahuwah, Israel is my son, my firstborn. So I say to you, let my son go, that he may serve me. But if you refuse to let him go, indeed, I will kill your son, your firstborn. Psalm 23, verse 1 through 6. Yeshua is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me to lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside the still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in the path of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepared a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup runs over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of Yahuwah forever. Acts 1, verse 6. Therefore, when they had come together, they asked him, saying, Yeshua, will you at this time restore the kingdom to Yasharel? Deuteronomy 8, verse 6. Therefore you shall keep the commandments of Yahuwah, your Elohim, to walk in his ways and to fear him. Deuteronomy 6, verse 17 through 18. You shall diligently keep the commandments of Yahuwah, your Elohim, his testimony, and his statutes, which he has commanded you. And you shall do what is right and good in the sight of Yahuwah, that it may be well with you, and that you may go in and possesses the good land of which Yahuwah swore to your fathers. Leviticus 19, verse 33 and 34. And if a stranger dwells with you in your land, you shall not mistreat him. The stranger who dwells among you shall be to you as one born among you, and you shall love him as yourself, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt. I am Yahuwah, your Elohim. Matthew 24, verse 37 through 42. But as the days of Noah were, so also will the coming of the Son of Man be. For as in the days before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, until the day that Noah entered the ark, and did not know until the flood came and took them all away. So also will the coming of the Son of Man be. Then two men will be in the field, one will be taken, and the other left. Two women will be grinding at the mill, one will be taken, and the other left. Watch therefore, for you do not know what hour your Yah is coming. John 17, verse 14 through 16. I have given them your word, and the world has hated them because they are not of this world, just as I am not of the world. I do not pray that you should take them out of the world, but that you should keep them from the evil one. They are not of the world, just as I am not of the world. Mark 13, verse 24 through 27. But in those days, after that tribulation, the sun will be darkened, and the moon will not give its light. The stars of heaven will fall, and the powers in the heavens will be shaken. Then they will see the Son of Man coming in the cloud with great power and glory, and then he will send his angels and gather together his elect from the four winds, from the furthest part of earth to the furthest part of heaven. John 11:49 to 52. And one of them, Caiaphas, being high priest that year, said to them, You know nothing at all, nor do you consider that it is expedient for us that one man should die for the people, and not that the whole nation should perish. Now, this he did not say on his own authority, but being high priest that year, he prophesied that Yahusha would die for the nation, and not for that nation only, but also that he would gather together in one the children of Yahuwah who were scattered abroad. Ephesians 4, verse 29 through 31. Let no corrupt word proceed out of your mouth, but what is good for necessary edification, that it may impart grace to the hearers. And do not grieve the Ruach Kodesh of Yahuwah, by whom you were sealed for the day of redemption. Let all bitterness, wrath, anger, clamor, and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice. Deuteronomy 1, verse 42 through 46. But if the journey is too long for you, so that you are not able to carry the tithe, or if the place where Yahuwah your El chooses to put his name is too far from you, when Yahuwah your El has blessed you, then you shall exchange it for money. Take the money in your hand and go to the place which Yahuwah your El chooses, and you shall spend that money for whatever your heart desires, for oxen or sheep, for wine or similar drink, for whatever your heart desires. You shall eat there before Yahuwah your El, and you shall rejoice, you and your household. Deuteronomy 2:14. And the time we took to come from Kadesh Barnea until we crossed over the valley of the Zered was 38 years, until all the generation of the men of war was consumed from the midst of the camp, just as Yahuwah sworn to them. Jeremiah 51, verse 9. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, and let us go, everyone, to his own country. For her judgment reaches to the heaven and is lifted up to the skies. 1 Kings 8:41 through 43. Moreover, concerning a foreigner who is not of your people Yasharel, but has come from a far country for your name's sake, for they will hear of your great name and your strong hand and your outstretched arm when he comes and prays towards this temple here in heaven, your dwelling place, and do according to all for which the foreigner calls to you, that all peoples of the earth may know your name and fear you, as do your people Yasharel, and that they may know that this temple which I have built is called by your name. John 14:15. If you love me, keep my commandment. John 14:14. If you ask anything in my name, I will do it. Proverbs 21, verse 27 through 31. The sacrifice of the wicked is an abomination. How much more when he brings it with wicked intent? A false witness shall perish, but the man who hears him will speak endlessly. A wicked man hardens his face, but as for the upright, he establishes his way. There is no wisdom or understanding or counsel against Yahuwah. The horse is prepared for the day of battle, but deliverance is of Yahuwah. Ephesians 5, verse 8 through 11. For you were once darkness, but now you are light in Yahuwah. Walk as children of light, for the fruit of the Ruach is in all goodness, righteousness, and truth, finding out what is acceptable to Yahuwah, and have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather expose them. Psalms 19, verse 12 to 14. Who can understand his errors? Cleanse me from secret faults. Keep back your servant also from presumptuous sins. Let them not have dominion over me. Then I shall be blameless, and I shall be innocent of great transgression. Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in your sight, O Yah, my strength and my Redeemer. Ephesians 5, verse 12 through 21. For it is shameful even to speak of those things which are done by them in secret. But all things that are exposed are made manifest by the light. For whatever makes manifest is light. Therefore, he says, awake, you who sleep, arise from the dead, and Hamashiach will give you light. See then that you walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time, because the days are evil. Therefore, do not be unwise, but understand what the will of Yahuwah is. And do not be drunk with wine, in which is dissipation, but be filled with this Ruach, speaking to one another in psalms and hymns and spiritual songs, singing and making melody in your heart to Yahuwah, giving thanks always for all things to Yahuwah, the Father, in the name of our Mashiach, submitting to one another in the fear of Yahuwah. Colossians 1, verse 15 through 18. He is the image of the invisible Elohim, the firstborn over all creation. For by him all things were created, that are in heaven and that are on earth, visible and invisible, whether thrones or dominions, or principalities or powers. All things were created through him and for him, and he is before all things, and in him all things consist. And he is the head of the body, the assembly, who is the beginning, the firstborn from the dead, that in all things he may have the preeminence. Hebrews 1, verse 3. Who being the brightness of his glory and the express image of his person, and upholding all things by the word of his power, when he had by himself purged our sins, sat down at the right hand of the majestic on high. Genesis 1, verse 26. Then Elohim said, let us make man in our image, according to our likeness. Let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the air, and over the cattle, over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps on the earth. 2 Corinthians 4, verse 4. Whose minds the mighty one of this age has blinded, who do not believe, lest the light of the good news of the glory of Mashiach, who is the image of Elohim, should shine in them. Exodus 17, verse 1 through 3. Then all the congregation of the children of Yasharel set out on their journey from the wilderness of Sin, according to the commandment of Yahuwah, and camped in Rephidim but there was no water for the people to drink. Therefore, the people contented with Moses and said, "Give us water that we may drink." So Moses said to them, "Why do you contend with me? Why do you tempt Yahuwah?" And the people thirst there for water. And the people complained against Moses and said, "Why is it you have brought us up out of Egypt to kill us and our children and our livestock with thirst?" Exodus 15, verse 22 through 24. So Moses brought Yasharel from the Sea of Reeds. Then they went out into the wilderness of Sray, and they went 3 days in the wilderness and found no water. Now when they came to Marah, they could not drink the waters of Marah, for they were bitter. Therefore, the name of it was called Marah. And the people complained against Moses, saying, "What shall we drink?" Deuteronomy 28, verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if you do not obey the voice of Yahuwah your Elohim, to observe carefully all his commandments and his statutes, which I command you today, that all these curses will come upon you and overtake you. Deuteronomy 28, verse 41 through 44. You shall beget sons and daughters, but they shall not be yours, for they shall go into captivity. Locusts shall consume all your trees and the produce of your land. The alien who is among you shall rise higher and higher above you, and you shall come down lower and lower. He shall lend to you, but you shall not lend to him. He shall be the head, and you shall be the tail. John 16, verse 16 through 20. A little while, and you will not see me. And again, a little while, and you will see me, because I go to the Father. Then some of his disciples said among themselves, "What is this that he says to us? A little while, and you will not see me, and again a little while, and you will see me, and because I go to the Father." They said therefore, "What is this that he says? A little while, we do not know what he is saying." Now Yahusha knew that they desired to ask him, and he said to them, "Are you inquiring among yourselves about what I said? A little while, and you will not see me, and again a little while, and you will see me? Most surely I say to you that you will weep and lament, but the world will rejoice, and you will be sorrowful, but your sorrow will be turned into joy. The heavens declare the glory of Yahuwah, and the firmament shows his handiwork. Day unto day utters speech, and night unto night reveals knowledge. There is no speech, no language, where their voice is not heard. Their line has gone out through all the earth, and their word to the end of the world. In them he has set a tabernacle for the sun, which is like a bridegroom coming out of his chamber, and rejoice like a strong man to run its race. Its rising is from one end of heaven, and its circuit to the other end, and there is nothing hindered from its heat. The law of Yahuwah is perfect, covering the soul. The testimony of Yahuwah is sure, making wise the simple. The status of Yahuwah are right, rejoicing the heart. The commandment of Yahuwah is perfect, enlightening the eyes. The fear of Yahuwah is clean, enduring forever. The judgments of Yahuwah are true and righteous altogether. More to be desired are they than gold, yes, than much fine gold, sweeter also than honey and the honeycomb. Moreover, by them your servant is warned, and in keeping them there is great reward. 1 Kings 8:57 through 61. May Yahuwah our Elohim be with us, as he was with our fathers. May he not leave us nor forsake us, that he may incline our hearts to himself, to walk in all his ways, and to keep his commandments, and his statutes, and his judgments, which he commanded our fathers. And may these words of mine, with which I have made supplication before Yahuwah, be near Yahuwah our Elohim day and night, that he may maintain the cause of his servant and the cause of his people, Yasharel, as each day may require, that all the peoples of the earth may know that Yahuwah is Elohim. There is no other. Let your heart, therefore, be loyal to Yahuwah, our Elohim, to walk in his statutes and to keep his commandments as at this day. Psalms 93. Yahuwah reigns. He is clothed with majestic. Yahuwah is clothed. He has girded himself with strength. Surely the world is established so that it cannot be moved. Your throne is established from of old. You are from everlasting. The floods have lifted up, O Yahuwah. The floods have lifted up their voice. The floods lift up their waves. Yahuwah on high is mightier than the noise of many waters, than the mighty waves of the sea. Your testimonies are very sure. Holiness adorns your house, O Yahuwah, forever. Proverbs 21, verses 1 through 6. The king's heart is in the hand of Yahuwah. Like the rivers of water, he turns it wherever he wishes. Every way of a man is right in his own eyes, but Yahuwah weighs the heart. To do righteousness and justice is more acceptable to Yahuwah than sacrifice. A haughty look, a proud heart, and the plowing of the wicked are sin. The plans of the diligent lead surely to plenty, but those of everyone who is hasty surely to poverty. Getting treasures by a lying tongue is the fleeting fantasy of those who seek death. Proverbs 21, verse 22 to 26. A wise man scales the city of the mighty and brings down the trusted stronghold. Whoever guards his mouth and tongue keeps his soul from troubles. A proud and haughty man, scoffer is his name. He acts with arrogant pride. The desire of the lazy man kills him, for his hands refuse to labor. He covets greedily all day long. But the righteous gives and does not spare. Proverbs 21, verse 17 through 21. He who loves pleasure will be a poor man. He who loves wine and oil will not be rich. The wicked shall be a ransom for the righteous, and the unfaithful for the upright. Better to dwell in the wilderness than with a contentious and angry woman. There is desirable treasure and oil in the dwelling of the wise, but a foolish man squanders it. He who follows righteousness and mercy finds life, righteousness, and honor. James 4, verses 1 through 8. Where do wars and fights come from among you? Do they not come from your desires for pleasure that war in your members? You lust and do not have. You murder and covet and cannot obtain. You fight and war, yet you do not have, because you do not ask. You ask and do not receive, because you ask amiss, that you may spend it on your pleasures. Adulterers and adulteress, do you not know that friendship with the world is enmity with Yahuwah? Whoever therefore wants to be a friend of the world makes himself an enemy of Yahuwah. Or do you think that the scripture says in vain, the spirit who dwells in us yearns jealousy, but he gives more grace? Therefore he says, Yahuwah resists the proud, but give grace to the humble. Therefore submit to Yahuwah, resist the devil, and he will flee from you. Draw near to Yahuwah, and he will draw near to you. Cleanse your hands, you sinners, and purify your hearts, you double-minded. Leviticus 22, verse 29 to 33. And when you offer a sacrifice of thanksgiving to Yahuwah, offer it of your own free will. On the same day it shall be eaten. You shall leave none of it until morning. I am Yahuwah. Therefore, you shall keep my commandments and perform them. I am Yahuwah. You shall not profane my holy name, but I will be hallowed among the children of Yasharel. I am Yahuwah, who sacrifices you, who brought you out of the land of Egypt to be your Elohim. I am Yahuwah. Psalms 100. Make a joyful shout to Yahuwah, all you lands. Serve Yahuwah with gladness. Come before his presence with singing. Know that Yahuwah, he is Elohim. It is he who has made us, and not we ourselves. We are his people and the sheep of his pastures. Enter into his gates with thanksgiving, and into his courts with praise. Be thankful to him and bless his name. For Yahuwah is good, his mercy is everlasting, and his truth endures to all generations. Psalms 28. To you I cry, O Yahuwah, my rock. Do not be silent to me, lest if you are silent to me, I become like those who got down to the pit. Hear the voice of my supplication when I cry to you, when I lift up my hands towards your holy sanctuary. Do not take me away with the wicked and with the workers of iniquity, who speak peace to their neighbors, but evil is in their heart. Give them according to their deeds and according to the wickedness of their endeavors. Give them according to the work of their hands. Render to them what they deserve, because they do not regard the works of Yahuwah, nor the operation of his hands. He shall destroy them and not build them up. Blessed be Yahuwah, because he has heard the voice of my supplication. Yahuwah is my strength and my shield. My heart trusted in him, and I am helped. Therefore my heart greatly rejoices, and with my song I will praise him. Yahuwah is their strength, and he is the saving refuge of his anointed. Save your people and bless your inheritance. Shepherd them also and bear them up forever. John 18:33 through 37. Then Pilate entered the praetorium again, called Yahusha, and said to him, Are you the king of the Jews? Yahusha answered him, Are you speaking for yourself about this? Or did others tell you this concerning me? Pilate answered, Am I a Jew? Your own nation and the chief priests have delivered you to me. What have you done? Yahusha answered, My kingdom is not of this world. If my kingdom were of this world, my servants would fight so that I should not be delivered to the Jews. But now my kingdom is not from here. Pilate therefore said to him, Are you a king then? Yahusha answered, You say rightly that I am a king. For this cause I was born, and for this cause I have come into the world, that I should be a witness to the truth. Everyone who is of the truth hears my voice. John 14, verses 1 through 4. Let not your heart be troubled. You believe in Yahuwah, believe also in me. In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you to myself, that where I am, there you may be also. And where I go, you know, and the way you know. Matthew 24, verse 29 through 31. Immediately after the tribulation of those days, the sun will be darkened, and the moon will not give its light. The stars will fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens will be shaken. Then the sign of the Son of Man will appear in heaven, and then all the tribes of the earth will mourn. And they will see the Son of Man coming on the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. And he will send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they will gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other. Matthew 25, verse 11 through 13. Afterward, the other virgins came also, saying, Adonai, Adonai, open to us. But he answered and said, Assuredly, I say to you, I do not know you. Watch therefore, for you know neither the day nor the hour in which the Son of Man is coming. Matthew 7, verse 21 through 23. Not everyone who says to me, Adonai, Adonai, shall enter the kingdom of heaven, but he who does the will of my Father in heaven. Many will say to me in that day, Adonai, Adonai, have we not professed in your name, cast out demons in your name, and done many wonders in your name. And then I will declare to them, I never knew you. Depart from me, you who practice lawlessness. Jonah 1:8-9. Then they said to him, please tell us, for whose cause is the trouble upon us? What is your occupation, and where do you come from? What is your country, and of what people are you? So he said to them, I am a Hebrew, and fear Yahuwah, the Elohim of heaven, who made the sea and the dry land. Ezekiel 18, verse 26-28. When a righteous man turns away from his righteousness, commits iniquity, and dies in it, it is because of the iniquity which he has done that he dies. Again, when a wicked man turns away from the wickedness which he committed, and does what is lawful and right, he preserves himself alive, because he considers and turns away from all transgression which he committed. He shall surely live, he shall not die. John 14, verse 26-28. But the Helper, the Holy Spirit, whom the Father will send in my name, he will teach you all things and bring to your remembrance all things that I said to you. Peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you. Not as the world gives, do I give to you. Let not your heart be troubled, neither let it be afraid. You have heard me say to you, I am going away and coming back to you. If you love me, you would rejoice, because I said, I am going to the Father, for my Father is greater than I. John 8:57-58. Then the Jews said to him, you are not yet 50 years old, and have seen Abraham? Yahusha said to them, most assuredly I say to you, before Abraham was, I am. John 20, verse 30-31. And truly, Yahusha did many other signs in the presence of his disciples, which are not written in this book, but these are written that you may believe that Yahusha is the Messiah, the Son of Yahuwah, and that believing you may have life in his name. John 14, verse 23-24. Yahusha answered and said unto him, if a man love me, he will keep my words, and my Father will love him, and we will come unto him and make our abode with him. He that loveth me not keepeth not my sayings, and the word which ye hear is not mine, but the Father's which sent me. John 3, verse 16-17. For Yahuwah so loved the world, that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever believes in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. For Yahuwah did not send his Son into the world to condemn the world, but that the world through him might be saved. 1 Peter 2, verse 12. Having your conduct honorable among the Gentiles, that when they speak against you as evildoers, they may, by your good works which they observe, glorify Yahuwah in the days of visitation. Luke 24, verse 16 through 21. But their eyes were restrained, so that they did not know him. And he said to them, what kind of conversation is this that you have with one another as you walk and are sad? Then the one whose name was Cleopas answered and said to him, are you the only stranger in Jerusalem, and have you not known the things which happened there in these days? And he said to them, what things? So they said to him, the things concerning Yahusha of Nazareth, who was a prophet mighty indeed and word before Yahuwah and all the people, and how the chief priests and our rulers delivered him to be condemned to death and crucified him. But we were hoping that it was he who was going to redeem Israel. Indeed, besides all this, today is the third day since these things happened. John 11, verse 49 through 52. And one of them, Caiaphas, being high priest that year, said to them, you know nothing at all, nor do you consider that it is expedient for us that one man should die for the people, and not that the whole nation should perish. Now this he did not say on his own authority, but being high priest that year, he prophesied that Yahusha would die for the nation, and not for that nation only, but also that he would gather together in one the children of Yahuwah who were scattered abroad. Jeremiah 23, verse 3 through 8. But I will gather the remnants of my flock out of all the countries where I have driven them, and bring them back to their folds, and they shall be fruitful and increase. I will set up shepherd over them who will feed them, and they shall fear no more, nor be dismayed, nor shall they be lacking, says Yahuwah. Behold, the days are coming, says Yahuwah, that I will raise to David a branch of righteousness. A king shall reign and prosper, and execute judgment and righteousness in the earth. In his days Judah will be saved, and Israel will dwell safely. Now this is his name by which you will be called, Yahuwah, our righteousness. Therefore the days are coming, says Yahuwah, they shall no longer say, as Yahuwah lives, who brought up the children of Israel from the land of Egypt, but as Yahuwah lives, who brought up and led the descendants of the house of Israel from the north country and from all the countries where I have driven them, and they shall dwell in their own land. Jeremiah 17, verse 1 through 4. The sin of Judah is written with a pen of iron, with the point of a diamond it is engraved on the tablet of their heart, and on the horns of your altars, while their children remember their altars and their wooden images, by the green trees on the high hills, O my mountain in the field. I will give as plunder your wealth, all your treasures, and your high places of sin within all your borders. And you, even yourself, shall let go of your heritage, which I gave you, and I will cause you to serve your enemies. in the land which you do not know, for you have kindled a fire in my anger, which shall burn forever. Jeremiah 17, verse 5 through 10. Thus say Yahuwah, cursed is the man who trusts in men and makes flesh his strength, whose heart departs from Yahuwah. For he shall be like a shrub in the desert, and shall not see when good comes, but shall inhabit the parched places in the wilderness, in the salt land which is not inhabited. Blessed is the man who trusts in Yahuwah and whose hope is in Yahuwah. For he shall be like a tree planted by the waters, which spread out its roots by the rivers, and will not fear when heat comes, but its leaves will be green, and will not be anxious for in the years of drought, nor will cease from yielding fruit. The heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it? I, Yahuwah, search the heart. I test the mind, even to give every man according to his ways, according to the fruit of his doings. Jeremiah 29, verse 4 through 7. Thus says Yahuwah of hosts, the Elohim of Israel, to all who were carried away captive, whom I have caused to be carried away from Jerusalem to Babylon. Build houses and dwell in them. Plant gardens and eat their fruit. Take wives and begat sons and daughters, and take wives for your sons, and give your daughters to husbands, so that they may bear sons and daughters, that you may be increased there, and not diminished, and seek the peace of the city where I have caused you to be carried away captive, and pray to Yahuwah for it, for in its peace you will have peace. Jeremiah 29, verse 14. I will be found by you, says Yahuwah. I will bring you back from your captivity. I will gather you from all the nations and from all the places where I have driven you, says Yahuwah. And I will bring you to the place from which I caused you to be carried away captive. Psalms 22, verse 27 through 31. All the ends of the world shall remember and turn to Yahuwah, and all the families of the nations shall worship before you. For the kingdom is Yahuwah's, and he rules over the nations. All the prosperous of the earth shall eat and worship. All those who go down to the dust shall bow before him. Even he who cannot keep himself alive, a posterity shall serve him. It will be recounted of Yahuwah to the next generation. They will come and declare his righteousness to a people who will be born, that he has done this. Matthew 17, verses 1 through 5. Now after 6 days, Yahushua took Peter, James, and John, his brother, led them up on a high mountain by themselves, and he was transfigured before them. His face shone like the sun, and his clothes became as white as the light. And behold, Moses and Elijah appeared to them, talking with him. Then Peter answered and said to Yahusha, Adonai, it is good for us to be here. If you wish, let us make here 3 tabernacles, one for you, one for Moses, and one for Elijah. While he was still speaking, behold, a bright cloud overshadowed them. And suddenly a voice came out of the cloud, saying, This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. Hear him. John 20, verse 25 through 29. The other disciples therefore said to him, We have seen Yahusha. So he said to them, Unless I see in his hands the print of the nails, and put my finger into the print of the nails, and put my hand into his side, I will not believe. And after 8 days his disciples were again inside, and Thomas with them. Yahusha came, the doors being shut, and stood in the midst, and said, Peace to you. Then he said to Thomas, Reach your finger here, and look at my hands, and reach your hand here, and put it in my side. Do not be unbelieving, but believing. And Thomas answered and said to him, My Adonai, my Elohim. Yahusha said to him, Thomas, because you have seen me, you have believed. Blessed are those who have not seen and yet have believed. Deuteronomy 28, verse 25 through 29. Yahweh will cause you to be defeated before your enemies. You shall go out one way against them, and flee 7 ways before them. And you shall become troublesome to all the kingdoms of the earth. Your carcasses shall be food for all the birds of the air, and the beasts of the earth, and no one shall frighten them away. Yahuwah will strike you with the boils of Egypt, with tumors, with the scab, and with the itch from which you cannot be healed. Yahuwah will strike you with madness and blindness and confusion of heart, and you shall grope at noonday, as a blind man gropes in darkness. You shall not prosper in your ways. You shall be only oppressed and plunder continual, and no one shall save you. Deuteronomy 28, verse 20 through 24. Yahuwah will send on you cursing, confusion, and rebuke in all that you set your hand to do, until you are destroyed, and until you perish quickly, because of the wickedness of your doings in which you have forsaken me. Yahuwah will make the plague cling to you until he has consumed you from the land which you are going to possess. Yahuwah will strike you with consumption, with fever, with inflammation, with severe burning fever, with the sword, with scorching, and with mildew. They shall pursue you until you perish, and your heavens which are over your head shall be bronze, and the earth which is under you shall be iron. Yahuwah will change the rain of your land to powder and dust. From the heaven it shall come down on you until you are destroyed. Deuteronomy 28, verse 36 and 37. Yahuwah will bring you and the king whom you set over you to a nation, which neither you nor your fathers have known. And there you shall serve other mighty ones, wood and stone. And you shall become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations, where Yahuwah will drive you. Deuteronomy 28, verse 30 and 31. You shall betroth a wife, but another man shall lie with her. You shall build a house, but you shall not dwell in it. You shall plant a vineyard, but shall not gather its grapes. Your ox shall be slaughtered before your eyes, but you shall not eat of it. Your donkey shall be violently taken away from before you, and shall not be restored to you. Your sheep shall be given to your enemies, and you shall have no one to rescue them. Deuteronomy 28, verse 32 to 35. Your sons and your daughters shall be given to another people, and your eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all day long. And there shall be no strength in your hand. A nation whom you have not known shall eat the fruit of your land and the produce of your labor. And you shall be only oppressed and crushed continually. So you shall be driven mad because of the sight which your eyes see. Yahuwah will strike you in the knees and on the legs with severe boils which cannot be healed. And from the sole of your foot to the top of your head. Deuteronomy 28, verse 38 through 42. You shall carry much seed out to the field, but gather little in, for the locusts shall consume it. You shall plant vineyards and tend them, but you shall neither drink of the wine nor gather the grapes, for the worms shall eat them. You shall have olive trees throughout all your territory, but you shall not anoint yourself with the oil, for your olives shall drop off. You shall beget sons and daughters, but they shall not be yours, for they shall go into captivity. Locusts shall consume all your trees and the produce of your land. Deuteronomy 28, verse 43 and 44. The alien who is among you shall rise higher and higher above you, and you shall come down lower and lower. He shall lend to you, but you shall not lend to him. He shall be the head, and you shall be the tail. Deuteronomy 28, verse 45 through 48. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon you and pursue and overtake you until you are destroyed, because you did not obey the voice of Yahuwah your Elohim to keep his commandments and his statutes which he commanded you. And they shall be upon you for a sign and a wonder, and on your descendants forever, because you did not serve Yahuwah your Elohim with joy and gladness of heart, for the abundance of everything. Therefore, you shall serve your enemies, whom Yahuwah will send against you in hunger, in thirst, in nakedness, and in need of everything. And he will put a yoke of iron on your neck until he has destroyed you. Deuteronomy 28, verses 1 through 3. Now it shall come to pass, if you diligently obey the voice of Yahuwah your Elohim, to observe carefully all his commandments, which I command you today, that Yahuwah your Elohim will set you high above all nations of the earth, and all these blessings shall come upon you and overtake you because you obey the voice of Yahuwah your Elohim. Blessed shall you be in the city, and blessed shall you be in the country. Deuteronomy 28, verse 4 through 11. Blessed shall be the fruit of your body, the produce of your ground, and the increase of your herds, the increase of your cattle, and the offspring of your flock. Blessed shall be your basket and your kneading bowl. Blessed shall be when you come in, and blessed shall you be when you go out. Yahuwah will cause your enemies who rise against you to be defeated before your face. They shall come out against you one way and flee before you 7 ways. Yahuwah will command the blessing on you in your storehouses and in all to which you set your hand. And he will bless you in the land in which Yahuwah your Elohim is giving you. Yahuwah will establish you as a holy people, just as he has sworn to you, if you keep the commandments of Yahuwah your Elohim and walk in his ways. And all the people of the earth shall see that you are called by the name of Yahuwah, and they shall be afraid of you. And Yahuwah will grant you plenty of goods in the fruit of your body, in the increase of your livestock, in the produce of your ground, in the land of which Yahuwah swore to your fathers to give to you. Deuteronomy 28, verse 12 through 14. Yahuwah will open to you his good treasure, the heavens, to give the rain to your land in its season, and to bless all the work of your hand. You shall lend to many nations, but you shall not borrow. And Yahuwah will make you the head and not the tail. You shall be above only, and not be beneath. If you heed the commandments of Yahuwah your Elohim, which I command you today, and are careful to observe them, so you shall not turn aside from any of the words which I command you this day, to the right or to the left, to go after other mighty ones to serve them. Deuteronomy 28, verse 15 through 19. But it shall come to pass, if you do not obey the voice of Yahuwah your Elohim, to observe carefully all his commandments and his statutes, which I command you today, that all these curses will come upon you and overtake you. Cursed shall you be in the city, and cursed shall you be in the country. Cursed shall be your basket and your kneading bowl. Cursed shall be the fruit of your body and the produce of your land, the increase of your cattle and the offspring of your flocks. Cursed shall you be when you come in, and cursed shall you be when you go out. Deuteronomy 13, verses 3 through 5. You shall not listen to the words of that prophet or that dreamer of dreams, for Yahuwah your Elohim is testing you to know whether you love Yahuwah your Elohim with all your heart and with all your soul. You shall walk after Yahuwah your Elohim and fear him and keep his commandments and obey his voice. You shall serve him and hold fast to him. But that prophet or that dreamer of dreams shall be put to death, because he has spoken in order to turn you away from Yahuwah your Elohim, who brought you out of the land of Egypt and redeemed you from the house of bondage, to entice you from the way in which Yahuwah your Elohim command you to walk. So you shall put away the evil from your midst. Revelation 22, verse 14 and 15. Blessed are those who do his commandments, that they may have the right to the tree of life, and may enter through the gates into the city. But outside are dogs, and sorcerers, and sexual immoral, and murderers, and idolaters, and whoever loves and practices a lie. Psalms 22, verses 1 through 5. My Yah, why have you forsaken me? Why are you so far from helping me, and from the words of my groaning? O my Yah, I cry in the daytime, but you do not hear, and in the night season, and I'm not silent. But you are holy, enthroned in the praises of Israel. Our fathers trusted in you. They trusted, and you delivered them. They cried to you and were delivered. They trusted in you and were not ashamed. Revelation 18, verse 14 through 18. The fruit that your soul longed for has gone from you, and all the things which are rich and splendid have gone from you, and you shall find them no more at all. The merchants of these things, who became rich by her, will stand at a distance for fear of her torment, weeping and wailing, and saying, Alas, alas, that great city that was clothed in fine linen, purple and scarlet, and adorned with gold and precious stones and pearls. For in 1 hour such great riches came to nothing. Every shipmaster, all who travel by ship, sailors, and as many as trade on the sea, stood at a distance and cried out when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, What is like this great city? Jeremiah 6, verse 13 and 14. Because from the least of them, even to the greatest of them, everyone is given to covetousness, and from the prophet even to the priest, everyone deals falsely. They have also healed the hurt of my people, slightly saying, Peace, peace, when there is no peace. Exodus 31, verse 16 and 17. Therefore, the children of Israel shall keep the Sabbath, to observe the Sabbath throughout their generations as a perpetual covenant. It is a sign between me and the children of Israel forever. For in 6 days Yahuwah made the heavens and the earth, and on the seventh day he rested and was refreshed. And Yahuwah spoke to Moses, saying, Speak also to the children of Israel, saying, Surely my Sabbaths you shall keep, for it is a sign between me and you throughout your generations, that you may know that I am Yahuwah, who sacrifices you. You shall keep the Sabbath, therefore, for it is holy to you. Everyone who profanes it shall surely be put to death. For whoever does any work on it, that person shall be cut off from among his people. Work shall be done for 6 days, but the seventh is the Sabbath of rest, holy to Yahuwah. Whoever does any work on the Sabbath day, he shall surely be put to death. Ezekiel 22, verse 6 through 10. Look, the prince of Israel, each one has used his power to shed blood in you. In you they have made light of father and mother. In your midst they have oppressed the stranger. In you they have mistreated the fatherless and the widow. You have despised my holy things and profaned my Sabbaths. In you are men who slandered to cause bloodshed. In you are those who eat on the mountains. In your midst they commit lewdness. In you men uncover their fathers' nakedness. In you they violate women who are set apart during their impurity. Ezekiel 22, verse 11 through 14. One commits abomination with his neighbor's wife. Another lewdly defiles his daughter-in-law. And another in you violates his sister, his father's daughter. In you they take brides to shed blood. You take usury and increases. You have made profit from your neighbors by extortion and had forgotten me, says Adon Yahuwah. Behold, therefore, I beat my fist at the dishonest profit which you have made, and at the bloodshed which has been in your midst. Can your heart endure, or can your hands remain strong? In the days when I shall deal with you, I, Yahuwah, have spoken and will do it. Habakkuk 2, verses 1 to 4. I will stand my watch and set myself on the rampart and watch to see what he will say to me and what I will answer when I am corrected. Then Yahuwah answered me and said, Write the vision and make it plain on tablets, that he may run who reads it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time. but at the end it will speak, and it will not lie. Though it tarries, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. Behold the proud, his soul is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. Habakkuk 2, verses 5 through 8. Indeed, because he transgresses by wine, he is a proud man, and he does not stay at home, because he enlarges his desires as hell, and he is like death and cannot be satisfied. He gathers to himself all nations and heaps up for himself all peoples. Will not all these take up a proverb against him, and a taunting riddle against him, and say, woe to him who increases what is not his, how long? And to him who loads himself with many pledges, will not your creditors rise up suddenly? Will they not awaken who oppressed you? And you will become their booty, because you have plundered many nations. All the remnant of the people shall plunder you because of men's blood, and the violence of the land and the city, and of all who dwell in it. Habakkuk 2, verses 9 through 11. Woe to him who covets evil gain for his house, that he may set his nest on high, that he may be delivered from the power of disasters. He give shameful counsel to your house, cutting off many peoples, and sin against your soul. For the stone will cry out from the wall, and the beam from the timbers will answer it. Habakkuk 2, verse 12 through 14. Woe to him who builds a town with bloodshed, who establishes a city by iniquity. Behold, isn't it not of Yahuwah of hosts that the peoples labor to feed the fire, and nations weary themselves in vain? For the earth will be filled with the knowledge of the glory of Yahuwah, as the waters cover the sea. Habakkuk 2, verse 15 to 17. Woe to him who gives drink to his neighbor, pressing him to your bottle, even to make him drunk, that you may look on his nakedness. You are filled with shame instead of glory. You also drink and be exposed as uncircumcised. The cup of Yahuwah's right hand will be turned against you, and utter shame will be on your glory. For the violence done to Lebanon will cover you, and the plunder of beasts which made them afraid, because of men's blood, and the violence of the land and the city, and of all who dwell in it. Habakkuk 2, verse 18 through 20. What profit is the image, that its maker should carve it? The mold image, a teacher of lies, that the maker of its mold should trust in it. To make mute idols. Woe to him who says to the wood, awake, to silent stone, Arise, it shall teach. Behold, it is overlaid with gold and silver, yet in it there is no breadth at all. But Yahuwah is in his holy temple. Let all the earth keep silence before him. Galatians 4, verse 16. Have I therefore become your enemy because I tell you the truth? Galatians 4, verse 12 through 16. Brethren, I urge you to become like me, for I became like you. You have not injured me at all. You know that because of physical infirmity, I preached the good news to you at the first. And my trial, which was in my flesh, you did not despise or reject, but you received me as a messenger of Elohim, even as Mashiach Yahusha. What then was the blessing you enjoyed? For I bear you witness that, if possible, you would have plucked out your own eyes and given them to me. Have I therefore become your enemy because I tell you the truth? Revelation 3, verse 7 through 10. And to the messenger of the assembly in Philadelphia write, these things say he who is holy, he who is true, he who has the key of David, he who opens and no one shuts, and shuts and no one opens. I know your works. See, I have set before you an open door, and no one can shut it. For you have a little strength, have kept my word, and have not denied my name. Indeed, I will make those of the synagogues of Satan who say they're Jews and are not, but lie. Indeed, I will make them come and worship before your feet, and to know that I have loved you, because you have kept my command to preserve. I also will keep you from the hour of trial which shall come upon the whole world to test those who dwell on the earth. Revelation 3, verse 11 through 13. Behold, I am coming quickly. Hold fast what you have, that no one may take your crown. He who overcomes, I will make him a pillar in the temple of my Elohim, and he shall go out no more. I will write on him the name of my Elohim and the name of the city of my Elohim, the new Jerusalem, which comes down out of the heaven from my Elohim, and I will write on him my new name. He who has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says to the assemblies. Exodus 12, verse 22 through 24. And you shall take a bunch of hyssop, dip it in the blood that is in the basin, and strike the linen and the two doorposts with the blood that is in the basin. And none of you shall go out of the door of his house until morning. For Yahuwah will pass through to strike the Egyptians. And when he sees the blood on the lintel and on the two doorposts, Yahuwah will pass over the door and not allow the destroyer to come into your houses to strike you, and you shall observe this thing as an ordinance for you and your sons forever. Exodus 12, verse 22 through 24. And you shall take a bunch of hyssop, dip it in the blood that is in the basin, and strike the linen and the two doorposts with the blood that is in the basin. And none of you shall go out of the door of his house until morning. For Yahuwah will pass through to strike the Egyptians. And when he sees the blood on the lintel and on the two doorposts, Yahuwah will pass over the door and not allow the destroyer to come into your houses to strike you. And you shall observe this thing as an ordinance for you and your sons forever. 2 Thessalonians 2, verse 7 through 12. For the mystery of lawlessness is already at work. Only he who now restrained will do so until he is taken out of the way. And then the lawless one will be revealed, whom the Adon will consume with the breath of his mouth and destroy with the brightness of his coming. The coming of the lawless one is according to the working of Satan, with all power, signs, and lying wonders, and with all unrighteous deception among those who perish, because they did not receive the love of the truth, that they might be saved. And for this reason, Elohim will send them strong delusion, that they should believe the lie, that they all may be condemned who did not believe the truth, but had pleasure in unrighteousness. 2 Thessalonians 2, verses 1 through 6. Now, brethren, concerning the coming of our Adon, Yahushua HaMashiach, and our gathering together to him, we ask you not to be soon shaken in mind or troubled, either by spirit, or by word, or by letter, as if from us, as though the day of Yah had come. Let no one deceive you by any means, for the day will not come unless the falling away comes first, and the man of sin is revealed, the son of perdition, who opposes and exalts himself above all that is called Elohim, or that is worshipped, so that he sits as Elohim in the temple of Elohim, showing himself that he is Elohim. Do you not remember that when I was still with you, I told you these things? And now you know what is restraining, that he may be revealed in his own time. Jeremiah 25, verse 11 through 12. And this whole land shall be a desolation and an astonishment, and these nations shall serve the king of Babylon 70 years. Then it will come to pass, when 70 years are completed, that I will punish the king of Babylon and that nation, the land of the Chaldeans, for their iniquity, says Yahuwah, and I will make it a perpetual desolation. Revelation 3, verse 7 through 10. And to the messenger of the assembly in Philadelphia, write: These things say he who is holy, he who is true, he who has the key of David, he who opens and no one shuts, and shuts and no one opens. I know your works. See, I have set before you an open door, and no one can shut it. For you have a little strength, have kept my word, and have not denied my name. Indeed, I will make those of the synagogues of Satan who say they're Jews and are not, but lie. Indeed, I will make them come and worship before your feet, and to know that I have loved you, because you have kept my command to preserve. I also will keep you from the hour of trial which shall come upon the whole world to test those who dwell on the earth. Psalms 119, 101 through 106. I have restrained my feet from every evil way, that I may keep your word. I have not departed from your judgments, for you yourself have taught me. How sweet are your words to my taste, sweeter than honey to my mouth. Though your precepts I get understanding, therefore I hate every false way. Your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. I have sworn and confirmed that I will keep your righteous judgments. Matthew 12, verse 34 through 39. Brood of vipers, how can you, being evil, speak good things? For out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. A good man out of the good treasure of his heart brings forth good things, and an evil man out of the evil treasure brings forth evil things. But I say to you that for every idle word men may speak, they will give account of it in the day of judgment. For by your words you will be justified, and by your words you will be condemned. Then some of the scribes and Pharisees answered, saying, Teacher, we want to see a sign from you. But he answered and said unto them, An evil and adulterous generation seeks after a sign, and no sign will be given to it except the sign of the prophet Jonah. Matthew 7, verse 24 to 29. Therefore, whoever hears these sayings of mine and does them, I will liken him to a wise man who built his house on the rock. And the rain descended, the floods came, and the winds blew and beat on that house, and it did not fall, for it was founded on the rock. But everyone who hears these sayings of mine and does not do them will be like a foolish man who built his house on the sand. And the rain descended, the floods came, and the winds blew and beat on that house, and it fell, and great was its fall. And so it was when Yahushua had ended these sayings, that the people were astonished at his teaching, for he taught them as one having authority, and not as the scribes. Matthew 7, verse 21 through 23. Not everyone who says to me, Adonai, Adonai, shall enter the kingdom of heaven, but he who does the will of my Father in heaven. Many will say to me in that day, Adonai, Adonai, have we not prophesied in your name, cast out demons in your name, and done many wonders in your name? And then I will declare to them, I never knew you. Depart from me, you who practice lawlessness. Matthew 7, verse 15 through 20. Beware of false prophets who come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravenous wolves. You will know them by their fruits. Do men gather grapes from thorn bushes, or figs from thistles? Even so, every good tree bears good fruit, but a bad tree bears bad fruit. A good tree cannot bear bad fruit, nor can a bad tree bear good fruit. Every tree that does not bear good fruit is cut down and thrown into the fire. Therefore, by their fruits you will know them. Matthew 7, verse 13 and 14. Enter by the narrow gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leads to destruction, and there are many who go in by it. Because narrow is the gate, and difficult is the way which leads to life, and there are few who find it. Matthew 7, verse 7 through 12. Ask, and it will be given to you. Seek, and you will find. Knock, and it will be open to you. For everyone who asks receives, and he who seeks finds, and to him who knocks it will be opened. Or what man is there among you who, if his son asks for bread, will give him a stone? Or if he asks for a fish, will he give him a serpent? If you then, being evil, know how to give good gifts to your children, how much more will your Father who is in heaven give good things to those who ask him? Therefore, whatever you want men to do to you, do also to them. For this is the law and the prophets. Matthew 7, verse 6. Do not give what is holy to the dogs, nor cast your pearls before swine, lest they trample them under their feet and turn and tear you in pieces. Matthew 7, verse 1 through 5. Judge not, that you be not judged. For with what judgment you judge, you will be judged. And with the measure you use, it will be measured back to you. And why do you look at the speck in your brother's eye, but do not consider the plank in your own eyes? Or how can you say to your brother, let me remove the speck from your eye, and look, a plank is in your own eye? Hypocrite, first remove the plank from your own eye, and then you will see clearly to remove the speck from your brother's eye. Matthew 10, verse 34 to 39. Do not think that I came to bring peace on earth. I did not come to bring peace, but a sword. For I have come to set a man against his father, a daughter against her mother, and a daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. And a man's enemy will be those of his own household. He who loves father or mother more than me is not worthy of me. And he who loves son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. And he who does not take his stake and follow after me is not worthy of me. He who finds his life will lose it, and he who loses his life for my sake will find it. Daniel 9, verse 27. Then he shall confirm a covenant with many for 1 week. But in the middle of the week, he shall bring an end to sacrifice and offering. And on the wing of abominations shall be one who makes desolate, even until the consummation, which is determined, is poured out on the desolate. 2 Thessalonians 2, verse 9 through 12. The coming of the lawless one is according to the working of Satan with all power, signs and lying wonders, and with all unrighteousness, deception among those who perish, because they did not receive the love of the truth, that they might be saved. And for this reason, Elohim will send them strong delusion, that they should believe the lie, that they all may be condemned who did not believe the truth, but had pleasure in unrighteousness. First Thessalonians 4, verse 13 through 18. But I do not want you to be ignorant, brethren, concerning those who have fallen asleep, lest you sorrow as others who have no hope. For if we believe that Yahusha died and rose again, even so Elohim will bring with him those who sleep in Yahusha. For this we say to you by the word of the Adon, that we who are alive and remain until the coming of the Adon will by no means precede those who are asleep. For the Adon himself will descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of a chief messenger, and with the trumpet of Elohim. And the dead in Mashiach shall rise first. Then we who are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds, to meet the Adon in the cloud, and thus we shall always be with the Adon. Therefore comfort one another with these words. Ezekiel 20, verse 34 through 38. I shall bring you out from the peoples and gather you out of the lands where you are scattered. with a mighty hand, with an outreach arm, and with wrath poured out. And I shall bring you into the wilderness of the peoples, and there I shall plead my case with you face to face, just as I plead my case with your fathers in the wilderness of the land of Egypt. So I shall plead my case with you, says the Adon Yahuwah. I shall make you pass under the rod, and I shall bring you into the bond of the covenant, and purge the rebel from among you, and those who transgress against me. I will bring them out of the land where they dwell, but they shall not enter the land of Israel. Then you will know that I am Yahuwah. Jeremiah 24, verse 5 through 7. Thus says Yahuwah, the Elohim of Israel, like these good figs, so do I acknowledge those who are carried away captive from Judah, whom I have set out of this place for their own good, into the land of the Chaldean. For I shall set my eyes on them for good, and I shall bring them back to this land. I shall build them and not pull them down, and I shall plant them and not pluck them up. Then I shall give them a heart to know me, that I am Yahuwah, and they shall be my people, and I shall be their Elohim, for they shall turn back to me with their whole heart. Jeremiah 24, verse 5 through 7. Thus says Yahuwah, the Elohim of Israel, like these good figs, so do I acknowledge those who are carried away captive from Judah, whom I have set out of this place for their own good, into the land of the Chaldean. For I shall set my eyes on them for good, and I shall bring them back to this land. I shall build them and not pull them down, and I shall plant them and not pluck them up. Then I shall give them a heart to know me, that I am Yahuwah, and they shall be my people, and I shall be their Elohim, for they shall turn back to me with their whole heart. Ezekiel 20, verse 34 through 38. I shall bring you out from the peoples and gather you out of the lands where you are scattered, with a mighty hand, with an outreach arm, and with wrath poured out. And I shall bring you into the wilderness of the peoples, and there I shall plead my case with you face to face, just as I plead my case with your fathers in the wilderness of the land of Egypt. So I shall plead my case with you, says the Adon Yahuwah. I shall make you pass under the rod, and I shall bring you into the bond of the covenant, and purge the rebel from among you, and those who transgress against me. I will bring them out of the land where they dwell, but they shall not enter the land of Israel. Then you will know that I am Yahuwah. Isaiah 9, verse 6 and 7. For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government will be upon his shoulder, and his name will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty El, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. Of the increase of his government and peace there will be no end, upon the throne of David and over his kingdom, to order it and establish it with judgment and justice, from that time forward, even forever. The zeal of Yahuwah of hosts will perform this. Isaiah 42, verse 1. Behold, my servant whom I uphold, my elect one in whom my soul delights. I have put my ruach upon him. He will bring forth justice to the Gentiles. Isaiah 49, verse 6. Indeed, he says, it is too small a thing that you should be my servant, to raise up the tribes of Jacob, and to restore the preserved ones of Israel. I will also give you as a light to the Gentiles, that you should be my salvation to the ends of the earth. Isaiah 10, verse 20 through 23. And it shall come to pass in that day that the remnant of Israel and such as have escaped of the house of Jacob will never again depend on him who defeated them, but will depend on Yahuwah, the Kodash one of Israel, in truth. The remnant will return, the remnant of Jacob, to the mighty El. For though your people, O Israel, be as the sand of the sea, a remnant of them will return. The destruction decree shall overflow with righteousness. For the Adon Yahuwah of hosts will make a determined end in the midst of all the land. Jeremiah 30, verses 1 through 6. The word that came to Jeremiah from Yahuwah, saying, Thus speaks Yahuwah Elohim of Israel, saying, Write in a book for yourself all the words that I have spoken to you. For behold, the days are coming, says Yahuwah, that I will bring back from captivity my people Israel and Judah, says Yahuwah, and I will cause them to return to the land that I gave to their fathers, and they shall possess it. Now these are the words that Yahuwah spoke concerning Israel and Judah. For thus says Yahuwah, we have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace. Ask now and see whether a man is ever in labor with child. So why do I see every man with his hands on his loins, like a woman in labor, and all faces turn pale? Jeremiah 37 through 11. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it, and it is the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. For it shall come to pass in that day, says Yahuwah of hosts, that I will break his yoke from your neck, and will burst your bonds. Foreigners shall no more enslave them. But they shall serve Yahuwah their Elohim, and David their king, whom I will raise up for them. Therefore do not fear, O my servant Jacob, says Yahuwah, nor be dismayed, O Israel. For behold, I will save you from afar, and your seed from the land of their captivity. Jacob shall return, have rest, and be quiet, and no one shall make him afraid, for I am with you, says Yahuwah, to save you. Though I make a full end of all nations where I have scattered you, yet I will not make a complete end of you, but I will correct you in justice, and will not let you go altogether unpunished. Jeremiah 30, verse 19 and 20. Then out of them shall proceed thanksgiving, and the voice of those who make merry. I will multiply them, and they shall not diminish. I will also glorify them, and they shall not be small. Their children also shall be as before, and their congregation shall be established before me, and I will punish all who oppress them. James 4, verses 7 and 8. Therefore submit to Yahuwah. Resist the devil, and he will flee from you. Draw near to Yahuwah, and he will draw near to you. Cleanse your hands, you sinners, and purify your hearts, you double-minded. 2 Timothy 3, verses 1 through 5. But know this, that in the last days hard times shall come, for men shall be lovers of themselves, lovers of money, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, thankless, wrongdoers, unloving, unforgiving, slanderers, without self-control, brutal, haters of good, traitors, reckless, puffed up, lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of Elohim, having a form of reverence, but denying its power, and from such people turn away. Second Corinthians 11, verse 13 through 15. For such are false apostles, deceitful workers, transforming themselves into apostles of Mashiach. And no wonder, for Satan himself transformed himself as a messenger of light. Therefore, it is no great thing if his ministers also transform themselves into ministers of righteousness, whose end will be according to their works. 1 Peter 1, verse 13 to 16. Therefore, gird up the loins of your mind. Be sober, and rest your hope fully upon the grace that is to be brought to you at the revelation of Yahushua HaMashiach, as obedient children, not conforming yourself to the former lusts, as in your ignorance, but as he who called you is Kodash, you also be Kodash in all your conduct, because it is written, Be Kodash, for I am Kodash. Psalms 106, verse 42 to 48. Their enemies also oppressed them, and they were brought into subjection under their hand. Many times he delivered them, but they rebelled in their counsel, and were brought low for their iniquity. Nevertheless, he regarded their affliction when he heard their cry, and for their sake he remembered his covenant, and relented according to the multitude of his mercy. He also made them to be pitied by all those who carried them away captive. Save us, O Adon, our Elohim, and gather us from among the Gentiles to give thanks to your Kodash name, to triumph in your praise. Blessed be Yahuwah Elohim of Israel, from everlasting to everlasting. And let all the people say, Amen. Praise Yahuwah. Jeremiah 25, verses 11 and 12. And this whole land shall be a ruin and a waste, and these nations shall serve the king of Babylon 70 years. Then it will come to pass, when 70 years are completed, that I shall punish the king of Babylon and that nation, the land of the Chaldeans, for their wickedness, declares Yahuwah, and I shall make it everlasting ruins. Daniel 7, verse 23 and 24. Thus he said, the fourth beast shall be a fourth kingdom on earth, which shall be different from all other, and shall devour the whole earth, trample it, and break it in pieces. The 10 horns are 10 kings, who shall arise from this kingdom, and another shall rise after them. He shall be different from the first one, and shall subdue 3 kings. Psalms 106, verse 32 to 41. They angered him also at the waters of strife, so that it went ill with Moses on account of them, because they rebelled against his spirit, so that he spoke rashly with his lips. They did not destroy the peoples concerning whom Yahuwah had commanded them, but they mingle with the Gentile and learn their works. They serve their idols, which became a snare to them. They even sacrifice their sons and their daughters to demons, and shed innocent blood, the blood of their sons and daughters, whom they sacrifice to the idols of Canaan. And the land was polluted with blood. Thus they were defiled with their own works, and played harlot by their own deeds. Therefore the wrath of Yahuwah was kindled against his people, so that his heard his own inheritance. And he gave them into the hands of the Gentiles, and those who hated them ruled over them. Psalms 106, verse 28 to 32. They joined themselves also to Baal of Peor, and ate sacrifices made to the dead. Thus they provoked him to anger with their deeds, and the plague broke out among them. Then Phinehas stood up and intervened, and the plague was stopped. And that was accounted to him for righteousness to all generations forevermore. Psalms 106, verse 24 to 27. Then they despised the pleasant land. They did not believe his words, but complained in their tents, and did not heed the voice of Yahuwah. Therefore he raised his hand in an oath against them, to overthrow them in the wilderness, to overthrow their descendants among the nations, and to scatter them in the lands. Psalms 106, verse 18 to 23. A fire was kindled in their company. The flame burnt up the wicked. They made a calf in Horeb and worshipped the molten image. Thus they changed their glory into the image of an ox that eats grass. They forgot El, their Savior, who had done great things in Egypt, wondrous works in the land of Ham, awesome things by the sea of reeds. Therefore he said that he would destroy them. Had not Moses, his chosen one, stood before him in the breach to turn away his wrath, lest he destroy them. Psalms 106, verse 7 to 17. Our fathers in Egypt did not understand your wonders. They did not remember the multitude of your mercy, but rebelled by the sea of reeds. Nevertheless, he saved them for his name's sake, that he might make his mighty power known. He rebuked the sea of reeds also, and it dried up. So he led them through the depth as through the wilderness. He saved them from the hand of him who hated them, and redeemed them from the land of the enemy. The water covered their enemies. There was not one of them left. Then they believed his words. They sung his praise. They soon forgot his works. They did not wait for his counsel, but lust exceedingly in the wilderness, and tested El in the desert. And he gave them their request, but sent leanness in their soul when they envied Moses in the camp. And Aaron, the saint of Yahuwah, the earth opened up and swallowed Dathan, and covered the fraction of Abiram. Psalms 106, verses 1 through 6. Praise Yahuwah. Oh, give thanks to Yahuwah, for he is good, for his mercy endures forever. Who can utter the mighty acts of Yahuwah? Who can declare all his praise? Blessed are those who keep justice, and he who does righteousness at all times. Remember me, O Yahuwah, with the favor you have toward your people. Oh, visit me with your salvation, that I may see the benefit of your chosen ones, that I may rejoice in the gladness of your nation, that I may glory with your inheritance. We have sinned with our fathers. We have committed iniquity. We have done wickedly. Amos 9, verse 11 through 15. On that day I will rise up tabernacle of David which has fallen down, and repair its damages. I will rise up its ruin and rebuild it as in the days of old, that they may possess the remnant of Edom and all the Gentiles who are called by my name, says Yahuwah, who does this thing. Behold, the days are coming, says Yahuwah, when the plowman shall overtake the reaper, and the treader of grapes him who sows seed. The mountains shall drip with sweet wine, and all the hills shall flow with it. I will bring back the captives of my people Israel. They shall build the waste cities and inhabit them. They shall plant vineyards and drink wine from them. They shall also make gardens and eat fruit from them. I will plant them in their land, and no longer shall they be pulled up from the land I have given them, says Yahuwah, your Elohim. Jeremiah 16, verse 10 through 13. And it shall be when you show this people all these words, and they say to you, why has Yahuwah pronounced all this great evil against us? Or what is our wickedness? Or what is our sin that we have committed against Yahuwah, our Elohim? Then you shall say to them, because your fathers have forsaken me, says Yahuwah. They have walked after other mighty ones, and have served them, and bowed themselves to them, and have forsaken me, and not kept my Torah. And you have done more evil than your fathers. For behold, each one follows the dictates of his own evil heart, so that no one listens to me. Therefore, I will cast you out of this land into a land that ye do not know, neither you nor your fathers, and there you shall serve other mighty ones day and night, where I will not show you favor. Jeremiah 30, verse 19 through 20. Then out of them shall proceed thanksgiving, and the voice of those who make merry. I will multiply them, and they shall not diminish. I will also glorify them, and they shall not be small. Their children also shall be as before, and their congregation shall be established before me, and I will punish all who oppress them. Amos 3, verses 1 and 2. Hear this word that Yahuwah has spoken against you, O children of Israel, against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, you only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore, I will punish you for all your iniquities. Amos 3, verses 3 to 7. Can two walk together unless they are agreed? Will a lion roar in the forest when he has no prey? Will a young lion cry out of his den if he has caught nothing? Will a bird fly into a snare on the earth where there is no trap for it? Will a snare spring up from the earth if it has caught nothing at all? If a trumpet is blown in a city, will not the people be afraid? If there is calamity in a city, Will not Yahuwah have done it? Surely Yahuwah Elohim does nothing unless he reveals his secret to his servants, the prophets. Amos 3, verse 8 through 10. A lion has roared. Who will not fear? Adon Yahuwah has spoken. Who can but prophesy? Proclaim in the palaces at Ashdod and in the palaces in the land of Egypt, and say, assemble on the mountains of Samaria. See great tumults in her midst, and the oppressed within her, for they do not know to do right, says Yahuwah, who store up violence and robbery in their palaces. Amos 3, verse 11 to 15. Therefore, thus saith Adon Yahuwah, an adversary shall be all around the land. He shall sap your strength from you, and your palaces shall be plundered. Thus says Yahuwah, as a shepherd takes from the mouth of a lion 2 legs or a piece of an ear, so shall the children of Israel be taken out, who dwell in Samaria, in the corner of a bed, and out of the edge of a couch. Hear and testify against the house of Jacob, says Adon Yahuwah, the Elohim of hosts, that in the day I punish Israel for their transgressions, I will also visit destruction on the altar of Bethel, and the horns of the altar shall be cut off and fall to the ground. I will destroy the winter house along with the summer house. The houses of ivory shall perish, and the great houses shall have an end, says Yahuwah. Daniel 7, verse 24 to 28. The 10 horns are 10 kings, who shall arise from this kingdom, and another shall rise after them. He shall be different from the first ones, and shall subdue 3 kings. He shall speak pompous words against the Most High, shall persecute the saints of the Most High, and shall intend to change times and laws. Then the saints shall be given into his hand for a time and times and half a time, but the courts shall be seated, and they shall take away his dominion, to consume and destroy it forever. Then the kingdom and dominion and the greatness of the kingdoms under the whole heaven shall be given to the people, the saints of the Most High. His kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and all dominions shall serve and obey him. This is the end of the account. As for me, Daniel, my thoughts greatly troubled me, and my countenance changed, but I kept the matter in my heart. Daniel 7, verse 20 through 23. And the 10 horns that were on its head, and the other horn which came up, before which 3 fell, namely, that horn which had eyes and a mouth which spoke pompous words, whose appearance was greater than his fellows. I was watching, and the same horn was making war against the saints and prevailing against them until the Ancient of Days came, and a judgment was made in favor of the saints of the Most High. And the time came for the saints to possess the kingdom. Thus he said, the fourth beast shall be a fourth kingdom on earth, which shall be different from all other kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth, trample it, and break it in pieces. Daniel 7, verse 18 and 19. But the saints of the Most High shall receive the kingdom, and possesses the kingdom forever, even forever and ever. Then I wished to know the truth about the fourth beast, which was different from all the others, exceedingly dreadful, with its teeth of iron and its nails of bronze, which devoured, broke in pieces, and trampled the residue with its feet. Jeremiah 8, verse 18 through 22. I would comfort myself in sorrow. My heart is faint in me. Listen, the voice, the cry of the daughter of my people from a far country. Is not Yahuwah in Zion? Is not her king in her? Why have they provoked me to anger with their craft image, with foreign idols? The harvest is past, the summer is ended, and we are not saved. For the hurt of the daughter of my people, I am hurt, I am mourning. Astonishment has taken hold of me. Is there no blame in Gidlad? Is there no physician there? Why then is there no recovery for the health of the daughter of my people? Jeremiah 8, verse 15 through 17. We looked for peace, but no good came, and for a time of health, and there was trouble. The snorting of his horses was heard from Dan. The whole land trembled at the sound of the neighing of his strong ones, for they have come and devoured the land, and all that is in it, the city and those who dwell in it. For behold, I will send serpents among you, vipers which cannot be calmed, and they shall bite you, says Yahuwah. Jeremiah 8, verse 13 through 15. I will surely consume them, says Yahuwah. No grapes shall be on the vine, nor figs on the fig tree, and the leaf shall fade, and the things I have given them shall pass away from them. Why do we sit still? Assemble yourselves, and let us enter the fortified cities, and let us be silent there. For Yahuwah, our Elohim, has put us to silence, and given us water of gall to drink, because we have sinned against Yahuwah. Jeremiah 8, verse 11 through 12. For they have healed the hurt of the daughter of my people slightly, saying, peace, peace, when there is no peace. Were they ashamed when they had committed abomination. No, they were not at all ashamed, nor did they know how to blush. Therefore they shall fall among those who fall in the time of their punishment. They shall be cast down, says Yahuwah. Jeremiah 8, verses 8 through 10. How can you say, we are wise, and the law of Yahuwah is with us? Look, the false pen of the scribe certainly works falsehood. The wise men are ashamed. They are dismayed and taken. Behold, they have rejected the word of Yahuwah. So what wisdom do they have? Therefore, I will give their wives to others, and their fields to those who will inherit them. Because from the least even to the greatest, everyone is given to covetousness. From the prophet even to the priest, everyone deals falsely. Jeremiah 8, verse 4 to 7. Moreover, you shall say to them, thus say Yahuwah, will they fall and not rise? Will one turn away and not return? Why has this people slidden back? Jerusalem in a perpetual backsliding. They hold fast to deceit. They refuse to return. I listened and heard, but they do not speak aright. No man repented of his wickedness, saying, what have I done? Everyone turned to his own course, as the horse rushes into the battle. Even the stork in the heavens knows her appointed times, and the turtle dove, the swift and the shallow, observe the time of their coming. But my people do not know the judgment of Yahuwah. Jeremiah 8, verses 1, 2, 3. At that time, says Yahuwah, they shall bring out the bones of the kings of Judah, and the bones of its princes, and the bones of the priests, and the bones of the prophets, and the bones of the inhabitants of Jerusalem. Out of their graves they shall spread them before the sun and the moon and all the hosts of heaven, which they have loved and which they have served, and after which they have walked, which they have sought, and which they have worshipped. They shall not be gathered nor buried. They shall be like refused on the face of the earth. Then death shall be chosen rather than life by all the residue of those who remain of this evil family, who remain in all the places where I have driven them, says Yahuwah of hosts. Revelation 19, verse 11 through 16. And I saw heaven opened, and there was a white horse, and he who sat on him was called trustworthy and true, and in righteousness he judges and fights. And his eyes were like a flame of fire. On his head were many crowns. He had a name written that no one knew except himself. He was clothed with a robe dipped in blood, and his name is called the Word of Yahuwah. And the armies in heaven, clothed in fine linen, white and clean, followed him on white horses. Now out of his mouth goes a sharp sword, that with it he should strike the nations, and he himself will rule them with a rod of iron. He himself treads the winepress of the fierceness and wrath of El Shaddai, and he has on his robe, on his thigh, a name written, Sovereign of Sovereigns, and Adon of Masters. Revelation 19, verse 11 through 16. And I saw heaven opened, and there was a white horse, and he who sat on him was called trustworthy and true, and in righteousness he judges and fights. And his eyes were like a flame of fire. On his head were many crowns. He had a name written that no one knew except himself. He was clothed with a robe dipped in blood, and his name is called the Word of Yahuwah. And the armies in heaven, clothed in fine linen, white and clean, followed him on white horses. Now out of his mouth goes a sharp sword, that with it he should strike the nations, and he himself will rule them with a rod of iron. He himself treads the winepress of the fierceness and wrath of El Shaddai, and he has on his robe, on his thigh, a name written, Sovereign of Sovereigns, and Adon of Masters. Psalm 106, verse 26 through 29. So he lifted up his hand against them, that he would make them fall in the wilderness, make their descendants fall among the Gentiles, and scatter them throughout the lands. They yoke themselves to the Baal of Peor, and ate slaughterings made to the dead. Thus they provoked him with their deeds, and the plague broke out among them. Amos 3, verse 11 through 15. Therefore, thus said the Adon Yahuwah, an enemy, even all around the land, and he shall bring down your strength from you, and your palaces shall be plundered. Thus said Yahuwah, as a shepherd rescue from the mouth of a lion 2 legs or a piece of an ear, so are the children of Israel who dwell in Samaria to be rescued, in the corner of a bed and on the edge of a couch. Hear and witness against the house of Jacob, says Adon Yahuwah, the Elohim of hosts. For in the day I visit Israel for their transgression, I shall also punish concerning the altars of Bethel, and the horns of the altars shall be broken, and they fall to the ground. And I shall smite the winter house along with the summer house, and the houses of ivory shall perish, and the great houses shall be swept away, declares Yahuwah. Daniel 7, verses 4 through 7. The first was like a lion and had eagle's wings. I watched till its wings were plucked off, and it lifted up from the earth and made to stand on 2 feet like a man, and a man's heart was given to it. And suddenly another beast, a second like a bear, it was raised up on one side, and had 3 ribs in its mouth between its teeth. And they said thus to it, Arise, devour much flesh. After this I looked, and there was another, like a leopard, which had on its back 4 wings of a bird. The beast also had 4 heads, and dominion was given to it. After this I saw in the night visions, and behold, a fourth beast, dreadful and terrible, exceedingly strong. It had huge iron teeth. It was devouring, breaking in pieces, and trampling the residue with its feet. It was different from all the other beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns. Daniel 7, verse 8. I was considering the horns, and there was another horn, a little one, coming up among them, before whom 3 of the first horns were plucked out by the roots. And there in this horn were eyes like the eyes of a man, and a mouth speaking pompous words. Daniel 7, verses 9 and 10. I watched till thrones were put in place, and the Ancient of Days was seated. His garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head was like pure wool. His throne was fury flame, its wheels a burning fire. A fury stream issued and came forth from before him. Thousands ministered to him. 10,000 times 10,000 stood before him. The court was seated, and the books were opened. Daniel 10, verses 1 through 6. In the 3rd year of Cyrus, king of Persia, a message was revealed to Daniel, whose name was called Belshazzar. The message was true, but the appointed time was long, and he understood the message and had understanding of the vision. In those days, I, Daniel, was mourning 3 full weeks. I ate no pleasant food, no meat or wine came into my mouth, nor did I anoint myself at all, till 3 whole weeks were fulfilled. Now, on the 24th day of the first month, as I was by the side of the great river, that is the Tigris, I lifted my eyes and looked, and behold, a certain man clothed in linen, whose waist was girded with gold of Upas. His body was like beryl, his face like the appearance like lightning, his eyes like torches of fire, his arms and feet like burnished bronze in color, and the sound of his words like the voice of a multitude. Daniel 7, verses 1 through 3. In the 1st year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon, Daniel had a dream and visions of his head while on his bed. Then he wrote down the dream, telling the main facts. Daniel spoke, saying, I saw in my vision by night, and behold, the 4 winds of heaven were stirring up the great sea, and 4 great beasts came up from the sea, each different from the other. Daniel 10, verse 7 through 9. And I, Daniel, alone saw the vision, for the men who were with me did not see the vision, but a great terror fell upon them, so that they fled to hide themselves. Therefore, I was left alone when I saw this great vision, and no strength remained in me, for my vigor was turned to frailty in me, and I retained no strength. Yet I heard the sound of his words, and while I heard the sound of his words, I was in a deep sleep on my face, with my face to the ground. Daniel 7, verses 1 through 3. In the first year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon, Daniel had a dream and visions of his head while on his bed. Then he wrote down the dream, telling the main facts. Daniel spoke, saying, I saw in my vision by night, and behold, the four winds of heaven were stirring up the great sea, and four great beasts came up from the sea, each different from the other.